I am blind, and it turns out I am the lost heiress of a wealthy family. When my brothers found me, I was begging on the streets. They took me home, promising to take good care of me. However, on my first day back, an imposter claiming to be the wealthy daughter slit her wrists. Everyone rushed to her side and took her to the hospital, leaving me alone at home. Subsequently, the imposter faced several accidents, and all the evidence pointed towards me. I became despised by everyone. One day, I was kidnapped. The kidnapper called my eldest brother, demanding a ransom of 10 million. Over the phone, my brother scoffed. "Jennifer, what are you playing at now? I don't have time for your dramas." At that moment, I felt utterly disillusioned, but when I tried to climb to the rooftop, the kidnapper panicked. "Girl, are you trying to kill yourself? Have you considered how I'd feel?" When I regained consciousness, I found myself tied to a chair, being blind. I could see nothing and only smelled the musty dampness in the air. Attempting to move, the chair creaked. Soon, I heard footsteps approaching. Awake, a deep, young yet dangerous voice asked. I didn't dare move or respond. He didn't waste words and grabbed my neck, forcing my head up. I raised my neck, staring blankly ahead. After a pause, he asked, "Blind?" I gently nodded, and after a moment of silence, he coldly said, "So what if you're blind? Don't expect any sympathy from me. I'll call your family soon, and you better do as I say, or else I won't hesitate to harm you." I obediently nodded and replied, "Okay." I believe he took my phone, used facial recognition to unlock it, and dialed the top contact in my directory. After a few short rings, I heard my brother's voice, sounding distracted and impatient. "What now?" the kidnapper stated. "Harry, right, your sister is with me. You have 2 days to gather 1 million, or I'll harm her." Harry paused for a second, then scoffed, "Nice acting. Tell her it's Nina's birthday tonight, and if she doesn't come back, she shouldn't bother returning at all." Then he hung up. The kidnapper, incredulous, asked me, "Who's Nina?" I was at a loss for words. Nina was adopted by the James family. I was kidnapped by enemies when I was very young and sold to human traffickers. My mother, devastated by the loss, spiraled into madness. To soothe her, my father adopted Nina from an orphanage, even changing her birthday to match mine, deceiving my mother into believing she was me. Over time, everyone seemed to accept her as the beloved daughter and princess of the James family. This remained the case until our parents passed away. Before my dad passed away, he told my brothers to make sure they found me. The day I returned home, my brothers surrounded me, affectionately calling me Nana. My real name is Tina, but my dad had given Nina the name Nana. After learning about this, Nina couldn't cope and attempted suicide by slashing her wrists. Since then, no one dared to call me Nana anymore. My second brother gave me a new name, Jennifer. He said, "You're so petite and thin, let's call you Jennifer. It's nice and easy to remember." But he didn't know that I was small because I was malnourished as a child, and I was thin because I had barely had enough to eat. Over the years I was away from home, I was sold to human traffickers. They said I had a beautiful voice, so they blinded me and taught me to sing begging songs to earn my meals. But my brothers didn't care about that. They were only concerned whether Nina was being mistreated. The criminals persisted stubbornly, making several phone calls, all of which my eldest brother hung up. He didn't even get a chance to show my brother the photo of me being kidnapped. The last time, my brother finally exploded, yelling into the phone, "Jennifer, what are you up to now? I don't have time for your dramas." Then he not only hung up but also blocked my number. The room fell into a deathly silence, the smell of cheap tobacco slowly drifting into my nostrils. He was likely depressed, smoking and questioning life. After a long while, I calmly asked him, "Are you going to kill me then?" He slowly responded with a puzzled, "Huh," and then started to reassure me, "Girl, don't rush, you've got several contacts here. I'll call them one by one. Someone will surely pay the ransom, right?" A bitter smile tugged at the corner of my mouth. Really, my contacts were only my brothers, who were probably all celebrating Nina's birthday right now. No one would care about whether I lived or died. Sure enough, when I called my second brother, he immediately accused me, "Jennifer, it's fine for you to be a bit rebellious, but today is Nana's birthday. Can't you just let her have it? Why do you have to compete with her at this time? Who is Nana, her or me?" It was the first time I fought back. "Is there a possibility that today is also my birthday?" My brother was silent for a long time. In the background, there was the sound of "Happy Birthday" and a crowd laughing and cheering. Nina's voice was particularly sweet. "Second brother, come and cut the cake." It was as if he had just come to his senses, and he whispered, "Jennifer, stop making trouble and come back home. Don't ruin the family's mood." Then he hurriedly hung up. That moment felt so pointless. If it was going to be like this, why did they bother to acknowledge me in the first place? It might have been better for me to die out there, as if I never existed. That would probably make them happy, right? The criminals were still calling, but I stopped them. "Don't bother, no one will pay the ransom. Let me go, and I'll transfer my savings to you." When I first came home, my eldest brother had given me a card. He said Nina got 2 million a month for spending money, and I should have the same, so he transferred money to me monthly. I had never seen so much money before and didn't know where to spend it, so I just saved it all. My card was linked to online banking, and I gave the password to the thug leader directly, letting him transfer the money himself. He was true to his word and immediately untied me and let me go. Just before leaving, he suddenly asked, "Girl, do you need a ride home? Can you manage alone?" I waved him off with a smile. "No need, I have my own place to go." I left the building and fumbled my way up to the rooftop. The wind up there was so strong it nearly knocked me over. I walked slowly forward, the wind growing louder with each step until my foot hit a low wall. Crouching down, I touched the top of the wall and after a great effort, managed to sit on it. I guessed the street was right below. I couldn't see, but I hoped not to land on anyone when I jumped. As I clasped my hands together and silently prayed, a familiar male voice came from behind. "Girl, are you canceling your own ticket? Wait, have you even considered how I feel?" The voice of the thug leader sounded tense. Thinking about it, he had my phone and had made ransom calls to my brothers. If I died, they might really think the ransom failed and I was killed. Well, since I was going to die anyway, I might as well do a good deed before I go. I sighed and said to him, "Big brother, bring me my phone. I'll record a message as my last will. That way, my death won't be linked to you." He sighed too. "Girl, it's not just that. There's also your bank card's transfer limit, only 10,000 a day. Why don't you come down, and we can go to the bank tomorrow so you can withdraw the money?" I sat on the edge of the rooftop, unmoving. The thug leader's voice softened, his tone like coaxing a child. "Girl, let's see it through to the end. Help me just one more time, okay?" After a standoff, the thug leader moved behind me, gave me a chop with his hand, and then grabbed my waist to pull me back. Halfway through, I held my neck and told him, "Big brother, I was just about to come down. No need to chop me. It hurts." "Ah, you didn't faint," he apologized. "Sorry, girl. I saw on TV that this usually knocks people out. Watch less TV." Alright, I was brought back to the thug leader's house, but this time he didn't tie me up and even got a towel for my neck. The thug leader was named Joey, a simple and common name, just like him, straightforward to a fault. I wonder what made him think of kidnapping. After he applied the towel to my neck, he asked what I wanted to eat. I thought for a moment and said, "I want cake." I had only eaten cake once before. On the day I returned home, when my brothers prepared a welcome cake for me, but that cake was only cut once before the nanny screamed, and then everyone rushed upstairs. I couldn't see and could only understand from their conversations that Nina had slit her wrists, and there was blood everywhere. Her elder brother carried her onto the ambulance, followed closely by everyone else. I wanted to go too, but was stopped by my second brother. He said, "Nina is scared of you. She was still trembling when she saw you. It's better for you to stay home." So, I was left alone at home. I had a few bites of cake, perhaps because I was used to eating spoiled food and not used to cream. I ate too much too quickly and ended up throwing up. I cleaned everything up before anyone came back, so no one noticed. They are my family, and I didn't want them to worry, nor did I want them to feel burdened by me, so I carefully maintained my relationship with everyone, trying to blend in. But in the end, I realized that no matter how well-behaved and sensible I was, it couldn't outweigh a single tear from Nina. I was truly exhausted. Joey went out to buy me a cake and reminded me not to wander off before he left. With nothing else to do, and thinking I shouldn't just eat their cake for free, I decided to tidy up the blankets in the house. When he came back, he was slightly surprised. "You can do housework." "A bit. I can manage," I replied with a smile, asking, "Isn't that impressive?" As I smiled, my head slowly drooped. and my smile faded. I knew I wasn't just idling, I was deliberately trying to please. Over the years, I had gotten used to facing everyone with a smile, doing everything I could, humbly pleasing everyone, afraid of being a burden, afraid of being disliked, afraid of being abandoned again. Like a stray dog that had been taken in, I was always cautious, observing my master's moods, even afraid to eat an extra bite. Hoping that would secure a bit of affection, my eyes were downcast, silent. Joey seemed to notice my low spirits and pushed a slice of the cut cake towards me. Girl, eat the cake. Don't think too much, those brothers of yours are crazy. If I had a sister like you, I'd treasure her too much. Suddenly, I paused, the creamy texture melting slowly in my mouth. But I couldn't taste the sweetness. Tears slipped from the corner of my eyes, rolling down my cheeks, salty. That moment, even I was shocked. I hadn't cried when I was beaten by human traffickers, nor when I was hungry because I couldn't earn any money, not even when my brothers abandoned me, but now, I cried because of a stranger's comforting words. I felt so weak, I clenched my teeth, trying to hold back, but the tears flowed like a breached dam, unstoppable. Hey, girl, why are you crying? A rough hand caressed my cheek, and I instinctively shuddered, blurting out, "Don't hit me." The hand froze for a moment before moving away. I wiped my tears and smiled, explaining, "Sorry, I didn't mean that. I just thought of some unpleasant things." Perhaps because I had cried, the atmosphere turned particularly heavy. For some reason, I suddenly asked, "Brother, can I pay you to be my brother for just one day?" Just one day. Before I could receive a reply from Joey, my phone rang. I fumbled to answer it, only to hear my elder brother's icy voice on the other end. "Jennifer, where on earth have you disappeared to? Do you know Nina has been waiting for you all day? Why must you always cause trouble for us?" "I'm not coming back," I replied, taking a deep breath to keep my voice calm. "I won't bother you anymore." "So you think you're capable now? If it weren't for Dad's will, do you think anyone would bother with you? I'm giving you an hour to come back, or I'll have our eldest brother cut off your allowance." His words stung, and I found myself fighting back tears, just as I was at a loss for words. My phone was taken from my hand. Joey's voice, tinged with anger, came through. "Didn't you hear her? She said she's not coming back." Enough with the questioning, mind your own business. Caught off guard by a man's voice, my brother's tone became anxious. "Who are you? Why are you with my sister? What have you done to her?" Joey snapped back. "It doesn't matter who I am, and she's not your sister anymore. Stop calling her. Get lost." The call ended. And the person next to me sighed and handed me a tissue. "You don't even know how to argue, just crying." "There, I stood up for you." Something gently ruffled my hair, as soft as petting a cat. "Girl, from now on, I'm your brother." Joey's place was small and damp. He said it was a basement. There was only one bed, and he insisted I sleep on it while he made do on the floor. I felt awkward. "Brother, this is your house. Maybe I should sleep on the floor." He dismissed the idea. "You're a girl, delicate and frail. How could I let you sleep on the floor? I'm tough enough to handle it. Besides, that bed is too small for me. It wouldn't be comfortable anyway." The bed did feel quite small. "Brother, maybe tomorrow after we get some money, we could rent a bigger place," I suggested. "Yeah, sleep for now." Joey quickly fell asleep, silent, lying in the bed, listening to his soft breathing. I felt an unprecedented sense of security. I couldn't quite describe the feeling, but there was a subtle sense of anticipation in my heart. If things could just continue like this, it would be nice. The next day, we went to the bank to withdraw some money. Joey asked what I'd like to eat, and after thinking it over, I said, "I'd like McDonald's." It had been a very long time since I last had McDonald's, back when I had just lost my sight, lying in a dilapidated, leaky red brick house, barely alive. A little girl who came with me had brought a pack of fries and sneakily fed them to me. She told me it was the favorite food of city kids, retrieved from a trash can after another child couldn't finish them. That girl was the only friend I had in the world, but a few years later, she disappeared. Some said she was sold to Myanmar, some even said she was sold into the red light district. I never saw her again. Later, I asked my brothers to help look for her, but they all said they couldn't find her. How nice it would have been if she could have joined me for a meal at McDonald's. At the restaurant, Joey found us a spot to sit and asked what I wanted to eat. He then went to queue up to buy it. While waiting for him, a man somehow took the seat next to mine. With a laugh in his voice, he asked me, Little sister, are you alone? I immediately became alert and warned him, I'm here with my brother, and he will be back any minute. The man just uttered, oh, but his hand started creeping towards my leg. I tried to push his hand away, but being unable to see, I could only flail about in the air, calling out for Joey as I did. The man seemed even more amused and said, can't see, blind little sister, you're so pretty. Do you have a boyfriend? If not, he didn't finish his sentence. Suddenly screaming out loud, a sound of a slap echoed near my ear, followed by Joey's fierce voice, damn it, how dare you bully my sister, I'll beat you to death. I couldn't tell what was happening to the man, but he started crying and begging for mercy. Big brother, I didn't know she was your sister, I wasn't bullying her, just chatting with her. Joey's voice got closer and he asked me, did he bully you? I nodded, feeling wronged. Yes. He touched my leg, damn, animal. Joey's voice turned furious, followed by sounds of punches and kicks, and the man's cries. The man knelt and begged for mercy, but Joey was relentless and wanted to take him to the police station to charge him with molestation. But I never expected that I would encounter the person I least wanted to see. At the police station, I ran into Nina. She was dating a police officer and saw me while visiting him. Pretending to warmly greet me, I tried to avoid her, but she stopped me. What do you want? I asked. What would I want, sister? Aren't you thinking too poorly of me? She grabbed my wrist, leaned in close, and whispered just for us to hear. Or is it that you think you can outfight me and want to come back and compete with me? I never thought of competing with you, and as you wish, I don't plan on returning. What did you say, Jennifer? You wouldn't be playing some trick, would you? Nina clung to me and wouldn't let go, until Joey, who had just finished giving his statement, saw us. He pushed Nina away and shielded me behind him. What are you doing? This is a police station. Perhaps Nina had never been treated like this and got angry immediately, challenging him. Who are you? She's my sister, I'm talking to her. What's it to you? Then she commanded me, Jennifer, I have something to tell you. Come with me. Come nothing, Jennifer, let's go. Joey took my hand and started to walk out. But after a few steps, I stopped and said to him, brother, actually, I also have something I want to say to her. Don't worry, I won't be at a disadvantage, he assured me. He paused, took my phone, dialed his number, and then put it back in my pocket. He patted my head and said, go on, if you run into any trouble, call me, I'll hear you. Joey led me back to the police station, gave me a few instructions, and then left. Nina was still there, seemingly expecting my return. Who was that man? Your boyfriend, she asked with a teasing smile. That's my business. None of yours, I replied. Her laughter grew louder. He suits you well, both reeking of poverty. I wouldn't even glance at such trash men, only you would treasure him. I subconsciously bowed my head, clutching the hem of my skirt tightly. During my years with the James family, such incidents were not uncommon. Initially, I thought my presence made Nina feel threatened. She feared I would steal her brother's affection, which is why she targeted me repeatedly. I thought if I did well enough, she would accept me as family, so I always chose to give in. I wanted her to know that I wasn't competing with her. I just wanted to live well, nothing more. But later, I realized that wasn't the case at all. Nina simply despised and looked down on me, as if I were a pile of filthy trash. But this time, I didn't want to appease her anymore. I raised my face, retaliating for the first time. He's not trash, you are, Nina. Have you forgotten? It was my parents who took you from the orphanage so you could live a life of luxury. What right do you have to look down on others? You, how dare you insult me? Nina's voice became shrill, clearly angered. The next second, I was violently pushed, and my back slammed against the wall behind me. The sudden impact made my head spin, and I felt a dull pain in my neck and back. I supported myself against the wall, trying to find my balance in the darkness, biting my lip to keep silent. I didn't want to worry Joey. Before I could recover, Nina's mocking laughter rang in my ears again. Look at yourself, Jennifer, so useless. Who would like you? How about this? I'll give you some money, and you disappear. I'll tell the brothers you ran off with a man. You don't want to return to the James family anyway, right? I took a deep breath and chuckled self-deprecatingly. So that's it, Nina, you've always wanted to drive me out, haven't you? That's why you put needles in your shoes, spilled ink on your bed, and pretended I pushed you into the pool at the party. you did all this just to get rid of me, didn't you? Yes, so what? She patted my shoulder, laughing lightly. Do you think the brothers don't know about these things? You're blind, how could you do any of this? Guess why every time I frame you, it works. There's only one possibility. They dislike you too, Jennifer. You should never have appeared. You've ruined what was once a harmonious home. As she spoke, a card fell onto my body. Here's 5 million. Take the money and get lost. I don't want to see you again. I slowly slid down the wall, squatting and feeling around on the ground until I finally touched the card. Meanwhile, someone supported me from behind. Joey, who had come over at some point, helped me stand up. Furious, he snatched the card and threw it at Nina's head. So it's you who has been bullying Jennifer, huh? Who cares about your dirty money? This is a police station. Everywhere is monitored. You better apologize to Jennifer fast, or I'm not letting this go. At the same time, a young man's voice came from not far away. Nina, what are you doing? I didn't do anything. Nina's voice trembled slightly, betraying her nervousness. Kevin, did you finish with your case that quickly? Let's go. Didn't you say you wanted to watch a movie? Wait, officer, she just pushed my sister. You're not going to ignore this, are you? Joey said irritably. What sister? You think you can tie yourself to our James family? Kevin, don't listen to them. They're liars, here to scam us, Nina said, sounding so wrong she seemed on the verge of tears. The man paused for a moment before apologizing to Joey. I'm sorry, Nina is my girlfriend. If she did something wrong, I apologize on her behalf. She's not usually like this. There must be some misunderstanding. Huh? What good is your apology? I want her to apologize to Jennifer, right now, Joey demanded. The man sighed, lowering his voice. Nina, apologize. Nina suddenly burst into tears. Why should I apologize? She started it. You're my boyfriend. You should be supporting me. Not siding with strangers. I'm done with you. With that, she ran off, her sobs fading into the distance. I'm sorry, she's immature. I'll talk to her about this. My name is Lu Chen. Here's my business card. If there are any further issues or if compensation is needed, please call this number. After speaking, Lu Chen also hurriedly left. Joey tried to follow, but I grabbed him, shaking my head. Let it go. It's not the first time this has happened. I'm used to it. It's not a big deal. You're too nice. That's why people take advantage of you. As the saying goes, a kind person is easily bullied, a good horse is easily ridden. If you don't stand up for yourself, people will walk all over you. I couldn't help but laugh. So, is that why you're so fierce? I stretched out my hands in the endless darkness, trying to locate him. I still don't know what you look like. Are you also fierce? While I was searching, a large hand caught mine and slowly moved it to his face. His palm was warm, his cheek slightly feverish. I traced his forehead downwards, from his brow bone to his nose bridge, then to his thin and soft lips. He has a well-defined bone structure. He must be quite handsome, right? I try to picture what he looks like, but all I can conjure up is a blurry silhouette, no clear features. Maybe it's because I've been blind for so long that even my imagination is running low. Despite this, I want to make an effort to remember him. It was already the early hours of the morning when we came out of the police station. My steps were a bit unsteady, and I walked a little slowly. Joey seemed to notice and stopped to ask me, "Are you tired? Do you want me to carry you on my back?" I waved my hand and forced a smile. "No, I'm not tired. Actually, you don't have to pretend to be so strong. If you feel tired, sad, or wronged, you can talk about it. You can even be angry and unreasonable. There's no need to be so sensible. Our Jennifer, there are people who care about her." His voice was very soft, but it was like a heavy hammer striking my heart. No one had ever said such words to me. No one had ever asked me if I was tired, hungry, or suffering. No one cared about my feelings. After a long time, even I thought it was only natural to be ignored. Am I tired? Yes, I'm so tired. So incredibly tired that I feel like I can't hold on any longer. Tears welled up uncontrollably and fell like raindrops, pattering down. He reached out and stroked my cheek, sighing as he tried to soothe me. "Ah, why are you crying again? Are you made of tears?" Then he took my hand and guided it to his hunched back. "Come on, I'll carry you on my back." I lay on his back, and we walked for a long way. His back was broad and firm, and it hurt me where it pressed against my body. But for some reason, I felt warm in my heart, for the first time in my life as a human being. I had a feeling of happiness, perhaps a long, long time ago. Before I was taken away, I was also the apple of my parents' eyes and had enjoyed the taste of being loved, but that was so long ago that I can't even remember it anymore. The past is gone, and the future is still far away. I just want to seize the happiness right in front of me, even if it's just for a day, a moment, a minute, or a second, even if all of this is just a dream. I don't want to wake up. I fell asleep in a daze, and when I woke up, Joey was still carrying me forward on his back. After walking for so long, isn't he tired? I didn't want to make him too tired, so I struggled to get down. Brother, put me down. If we're too far from home, let's take a taxi back, okay? It's not that far, we'll be there in a while, let's save some money. I was a bit puzzled. He was clearly a kidnapper. Shouldn't it be easy for him to get money? Why is he being so thrifty? Moreover, I transferred a sum of money to him at the bank today. He should be quite well off now, with my doubts. I asked him, brother, didn't the money transferred today reach your account? If not, we can go and transfer it again tomorrow. No, it arrived. I'm just used to being thrifty, and I can't change it all of a sudden. But why? He didn't answer my question directly. Jennifer, up ahead is River Park. In 2 more hours, we'll be able to see the sunrise. Do you want to go and see it? I felt that he seemed to have something to say to me, so I nodded and said, okay. When we arrived at the park, Joey helped me sit on a bench. We sat side by side, waiting for the upcoming sunrise. He was very silent at first. After a while, he seemed to muster up the courage and said, Jennifer, do you want to ask me why I kidnapped you? I nodded, yes. He sighed, actually, I also have my own difficulties. My parents passed away when I was very young. I grew up in the village, eating the food provided by different families. Later, I got into university, came to this big city, and even joined the renowned James family group. I thought my life was set. As long as I worked hard and saved money to buy a house, my future would be bright. But unexpectedly, after I had only worked for 5 years, I was laid off. The company's reason was that I was over 29 years old and too old to adapt to the high-intensity work anymore. I should give up my position to a younger person. The one who laid me off was your eldest brother, Harry, originally. I also received some compensation and thought that I could just find another company and start over, but fate played a huge joke on me. I encountered some bad things. Not only could I not work, but I also ran out of money, so, in a fit of anger, I thought of kidnapping you. On the one hand, it was a kind of revenge on your eldest brother. On the other hand, I really needed the money. You could say I was at the end of my rope. After he finished speaking, neither of us said anything more. After a long silence, I lowered my head and softly said, I'm sorry. He reached out and ruffled my hair, smiling, you don't have to say sorry, your brother is your brother, and you are you. He's a jerk, but you're very nice. Jennifer, you have to remember that you're great. If someone doesn't like you, it must be their fault. Just give them a good slap in the face. He grabbed my hand and made several slapping motions in the air as a demonstration. Then he asked me, remember? I nodded with a smile. Remembered. He also smiled, but as he smiled, there was a faint, almost imperceptible sob in his voice. Jennifer, thank you. It seems that I've been helping you these 2 days. But actually, you've also helped me. I haven't felt the feeling of being cared about for a long time. Before, I dared to kidnap you because I had nothing to worry about and thought there was nothing worth loving in this world. But now it's different. I have a sister. Having someone I want to protect makes everything different. I want to live a good life, have a future, and do a lot of things with you. At this point, he suddenly paused, and then smiled again. In short, Jennifer, you have to live well, even if the road ahead is difficult. You have to be brave and keep going. What he said was rather ambiguous, and I didn't quite understand it. When I wanted to ask him, he patted the back of my hand. There was excitement in his tone. The sun is rising. Jennifer, look over there. Perhaps realizing that I couldn't see, he said, sorry, and then took my hand and slowly lifted it up. The sun is out. Jennifer, can you feel the sunlight? I opened my fingers and tried my best to feel it. It seemed that there really was a warm ray of light passing through my palm. It was warm and very comfortable, just like hope. As long as you believe, it will exist. I nodded and smiled, saying, I can feel it. It's the sunlight, and it's very warm. Jennifer, you're not short, not insignificant, not weak. Jennifer, You're the dawn by the river. The light of the dawn that shines into the darkness. He was also smiling. Jennifer, remember this feeling. Even if you're in the dark, always face the sun and never lose hope. I couldn't hold on anymore when we got home. My upper and lower eyelids were drooping, and I fell asleep soon after. I didn't know what time it was when I woke up again. I just felt a bit hungry. I wanted to get up, but thinking that Joey was still sleeping on the floor by the bed, I was afraid of accidentally stepping on him, so I called him twice. The room was completely silent, and no one answered. I realized that he might not be in the room, so I groped my way out of bed. I walked slowly, feeling the wall. There was only a small living room in the basement, and on the other side were a simple kitchen and a toilet. As soon as I left the bedroom, I heard a strange noise. It sounded like the sound of vomiting. I felt something was wrong, and my heart tightened involuntarily. Blind people are particularly sensitive to sounds and smells. I faintly smelled a faint smell of blood in the air. Was Joey injured? I was a bit flustered and quickened my steps. My stomach accidentally hit the corner of the table, and the pain made my eyes water. There was the sound of the faucet running in the toilet. Before long, someone took hold of my arm. He helped me sit on the single sofa. His voice was a bit weak and tinged with some restraint. Jennifer, are you okay? Did you bump into anything? I shook my head and quickly touched his arm. I'm fine. How about you? Are you injured? No. Why do you ask? He said with a smile. I smelled the smell of blood in the air. I told him the truth. His smile faded, and after a long time, he said, Jennifer, I have something to go out for today and can't take you with me. Will you be okay at home alone? I'll come back to make you dinner before evening. After he finished speaking, he let go of my hand. I tried to grab him but missed, and I called out in a panic, Joey, what's wrong with you? Are you hiding something from me? He took a deep breath, and his voice was a bit disappointed. Wait for me to come back. I'll tell you when I'm back. After Joey left, I sat on the small sofa, not knowing how long I waited. I didn't know what he was hiding from me, what that bloody smell was, and why he had been vomiting, but I instinctively felt that something was wrong. The feeling of unease instantly filled my heart. It was as if my chest was filled with molten lead, making it hard for me to breathe. But I couldn't do anything to help. I could only wait for him to come back. At that moment, I suddenly felt so useless. If only I could see, then at least I wouldn't be a burden to him. I waited with a nervous heart for I don't know how long, and then I heard the sound of a key being inserted into the lock and turned. Was he back? I stood up to greet him and bumped into a warm chest just after taking 2 steps. He gently supported my back with his hand and pulled me into his arms. Joey, I asked tentatively. Yeah. He buried his head in my neck and said softly, I'm back. He hugged me for a while, and then let me go and walked into the small kitchen. There were clattering sounds coming from the kitchen, and soon the room was filled with the aroma of food, which was inexplicably warm and cozy, but I still had a bad premonition. I felt my way along the wall, followed the smell into the kitchen, and slowly hugged him from behind. He held my hand, a bit helplessly. What are you doing in here? Be careful of the oil splashing on you. Your skin is so delicate. If you get splashed by the oil, you'll get scars. I don't have delicate skin, I said. His warm palm accidentally brushed across my arm and suddenly stopped on the 2 scars. The words that were on the tip of his tongue were swallowed back. I knew he wanted to ask how these scars came about. These were the scars left when I was beaten up and hung up by human traffickers while I was begging in the past. In addition to these, there were also whip marks, knife wounds, cigarette burns, and scalds from boiling water. Just thinking about these memories made my body tremble involuntarily. Joey seemed to sense my unease and held my hand tightly, saying softly, Jennifer, don't be afraid, I'm here. I pressed myself tightly against his back, and tears welled up again. Joey, don't leave me. Okay, I'm scared. He stopped cooking. This time, he didn't answer. After dinner, Joey packed up the bedding on the floor and said he was going to sleep in the small living room. I felt even more that something was wrong and stopped him. Joey, tell me the truth. What exactly happened to you? If you tell me, at least I can try to find a way to share your burden. It makes me feel bad too when you keep it to yourself. He thought for a while, then took me by the hand and sat me down by the bed. Jennifer, I didn't mean to hide it from you. I was just afraid that you wouldn't be able to accept it all at once, but now it seems that if I don't tell you, you'll be even more worried. I'm sick, but it's not very serious. I just went to the hospital. the doctor said that as long as I receive active treatment, there's a good chance of recovery. My heart tightened involuntarily, and I asked in a trembling voice, "What kind of illness?" He hesitated for a moment and pretended to be relaxed. "Cancer, but it's in the early stage and can be cured." The doctor said that many people can live for decades if they manage it well. When I heard the word, cancer, my head buzzed, and my chest felt so stuffy that I couldn't breathe. Joey was still comforting me. "Jennifer, don't worry, it's really not a big deal." I groped around on the bed for a long time and finally found my phone and handed it to him. "Joey, do you need money?" "I have money, I have a lot of money. It should be enough for your treatment. If it's not enough, I can go back and ask my brothers for it. I can beg them, as long as you can get better." By the time I finished speaking, I was already sobbing uncontrollably. In the dark, a rough palm stroked my cheek, and his slightly sad voice came to my ears. "Stop crying, Jennifer, actually. I'm sorry to you. I kidnapped you because I really needed the money, needed it quickly, and I also wanted to live. Jennifer, can you forgive me?" I shook my head while crying. "I don't blame you. If it weren't for you, I might not have been able to live either. With you here, I feel that there's something to look forward to in life." He ruffled my hair and sighed. "This world is really strange. It forces those who want to live to the brink of death and persuades those who want to die to keep living. Then let's live well. Let's live well together." I wiped away my tears and took his hand, pulling him outside. "Joey, let's go to the hospital now. Let's treat your illness." "Okay." Early the next morning, I dragged Joey to the hospital. He had been hospitalized before, so he was very proficient in handling the procedures and quickly completed them. There was a big brother in the next bed. I heard that he was Joey's former fellow patient. He had lung cancer and had been treated for several years. He seemed to be in a good condition. Seeing that I was a bit worried, he comforted me. "Little sister, don't worry, your brother is as strong as an ox and will be fine. Look at me, I'm doing just fine, aren't I?" After he finished speaking, everyone in the ward laughed. The worried heart I had been holding finally relaxed. Joey was hospitalized and actively cooperated with the doctor's treatment. His condition was getting better day by day, and he said he would be able to be discharged from the hospital soon. I hired a nurse for him, and I did some small things like fetching his meals and washing his towels. The nurses took extra care of me when they saw that I was blind. A few days later, Joey suddenly told me that he knew a very famous ophthalmologist in this hospital and asked me to go and have my eyes examined. My heart skipped a beat. I was very resistant to the fact of being blind. Every time the topic of my eyes came up, it would bring back those dark memories. Moreover, my brothers had asked the doctor before, and the doctor said that only a cornea transplant could cure me. Maybe there were few people willing to donate, or maybe as time passed, they just forgot about it. Later, I didn't bring it up, and the matter was left unresolved. I didn't expect Joey to mention it, and I didn't know how to respond. After a long while, I said, "It's no use going to see. There are probably very few people willing to donate corneas, right? I think it's fine like this now, and I've gotten used to it." Joey pushed me gently. "Go and have a look. Maybe you'll be really lucky." I didn't answer him, but he kept pestering me. I had no choice but to agree because I really couldn't stand his pestering and didn't want to disappoint him. Unexpectedly, just 2 days later, the doctor told me that a patient was willing to donate his cornea to me. The other person was in the late stage of cancer and probably didn't have much time left. The surgery could only be done after he passed away. When I heard this news, I was stunned on the spot and didn't come back to my senses for a long time. Walking out of the doctor's office, I didn't know whether to be happy or sad. I just felt a heavy weight in my heart and really wanted to cry. How long had it been since I last saw the sunlight? 10 years, 20 years. I didn't even know myself. I suddenly felt a strong sense of anticipation, looking forward to opening my eyes and seeing the world again, and even more looking forward to seeing the people around me. As I thought about it, I walked faster and faster. I had to tell Joey this good news as soon as possible, with the help of the nurse. I walked back to Joey's ward. As soon as I entered the room, I couldn't help but tell him, "Joey, I'm really in luck. Someone is willing to donate a cornea to me, and I might regain my sight soon." He gently stroked my head with a hint of indulgence. "That's really great, Jennifer, congratulations." I immediately became excited, hugged his arm, and started chattering. "Joey, I still don't know what you look like. Are you very good looking?" "Just average." "How can it be just average?" The nurses all say you're good looking. Then maybe I'm not too bad, after I regain my sight. Shall we go and see the sunrise again? Sure, I still want to go to many places, like the seaside, Jade Dragon Snow Mountain, and Zyakaden Lake. I've always heard that these places are very beautiful, but I haven't been to any of them. Let's go together then. Okay, Joey, why do you always say, okay? Are you play at me? Yeah, humph. Joey really wasn't good at chatting. I turned around, pretending to be angry and ignoring him, but in my heart, I was still looking forward to it. When his illness was cured and my eyes were better, which beautiful places would we go to and what kind of wonderful future would we have? Just as I was thinking about it, Joey tugged at the corner of my clothes and coaxed me softly. Are you still angry? I was wrong just now. I'm not good with words and don't know how to soothe people. Don't be angry anymore, okay? I turned back and said to him, well, I'll forgive you this time. But you have to pinky promise me that you want me in the future. After saying that, I stuck out my right pinky finger, and he also stuck out his pinky finger and made a pinky promise with me, and we have to be together in the future and never separate. Okay, whoever goes back on their word is a puppy. His hand froze for a moment, and then he suddenly hugged me, his soft lips pressed against my closed eyes. And he gave me a gentle kiss. Okay, forever and ever, we won't separate, he said. I rented an apartment in a residential area next to the hospital. On the one hand, it was convenient for me to take care of Joey. On the other hand, it was also for preparing for the cornea transplant, because the doctor said that the cornea had to be transplanted within a very short time after the donor's death, and I had to wait for the notice at any time. Early one morning a few days later, just as I got up and was about to go and see Joey, I received a call from Dr. Jack, telling me to prepare for the surgery immediately. I was excited for a while, and then I inexplicably started to feel sad. This meant that the donor had already passed away. It was a pity that the hospital didn't allow the disclosure of the donor's identity, and I didn't even know who had donated the cornea to me. If possible, I wanted to thank him in person, before entering the operating room. I used the voice assistant to call Joey twice, but he didn't answer either time. I held Dr. Jack's hand and asked, Doctor, how is my brother now? I haven't gone to see him today, and he didn't answer my call. I'm a bit worried about him. She was silent for 2 seconds, then patted the back of my hand and said, he's gone for chemotherapy. He might need to rest for a while when he comes back. Don't worry. Only then did I feel relieved, and I said to her, then can you please tell him not to come over? I can manage on my own. Chemotherapy is very painful and tiring for him. Let him have a good rest. Dr. Jack gave a soft and it sounded like a sigh. The surgery was a success. The doctor said that as long as I had a good rest, I would be able to see in a few months. However, Joey didn't come to see me for nearly a week, and he didn't answer my calls either. I asked Dr. Jack, and she always said that Joey had something to do and asked me to focus on recovering my eyes and that I would be able to see him when I got better. I became more and more uneasy, always feeling that something was wrong. After the gauze was removed, I could vaguely see the light and the shadows of people, but it was very blurry, like a mass of blurred colors, so I groped my way out of the ward, wanting to find Joey. But as soon as I reached the nurse's station, someone called me from behind. It was Dr. Jack's voice. She called me into her office, saying that she wanted to talk to me. I didn't know why, but I suddenly couldn't move, and my heart was clenched tightly. I had a premonition that what she was going to tell me was related to Joey. After entering the office, Dr. Jack asked me to sit down, and then she sighed and said, Jennifer, what I'm going to say next might be a bit cruel to you, but I can't keep it from you forever. You have to be prepared mentally. I folded my hands and clenched them tightly together, then nodded. She continued, actually, the person who donated the cornea to you was Joey. He passed away a week ago, but he asked me to keep it from you, at least until after your surgery and until your eyes had recovered a bit. His illness was already in the middle stage when it was first diagnosed. At that time, he was hospitalized for treatment for a while, after using up all his savings. He was discharged from the hospital and said he was going out to raise money. When he came back again, it was already 2 months later. After the examination, it was found that the cancer had spread all over, and it couldn't be cured. We tried to persuade him not to be hospitalized and suffer the pain in vain because the money would be spent, but he couldn't be cured. But for some reason, he insisted on being hospitalized. He even gave gifts to all the medical staff before being hospitalized and begged us to keep it from you, saying that he was in good condition and could be cured. Of course, we didn't accept the gifts, but we were also touched by his persistence. There are so many stories of life and death in the hospital. We can't save everyone, so we can only try our best to fulfill the patient's wishes, which makes me feel a bit better in my heart. We played along with him for a few days and coaxed you into having the surgery. Every time you left, he couldn't hold on anymore and would vomit blood profusely. He also asked the nurse to spray disinfectant in the ward every day, saying that you had a sharp nose and could smell the blood. Actually, he couldn't hold on for a long time. Dying earlier was a kind of relief for him. I also hope that you can understand him and his well-intentioned efforts. I sat there blankly, as if I didn't understand a single word. I just felt a tight and uncomfortable feeling in my chest. My mind was in a fog, and I forced a smile and asked her, "Dr. Jack, what are you talking about? You said just yesterday that Joey was fine, that he was in the ward, and that he had chemotherapy a few days ago." Dr. Jack sighed and didn't say anything. I tilted my head back and looked at the warm yellow patch on the ceiling. Tears flowed down from the corners of my eyes. "It's impossible. Are you joking with me? He's in the ward. I'm going to find him right now." As I said that, I stood up, but Dr. Jack stopped me. "Jennifer, I know you're very sad, but you can't cry. Your eyes haven't fully recovered yet, and the cornea is still very fragile. Joey went to so much trouble because he hoped that you could regain your sight. You don't want his last wish to be in vain, do you?" "Last wish?" I turned around and repeated Dr. Jack's words. Suddenly, my legs went weak, and I fell to the ground. Then I bit my lower lip and forced back the tears that had just fallen. The strong taste of rust exploded in my mouth, mixed with the saltiness of the tears, and finally turned into a bitter taste. But I couldn't cry. I couldn't. I lay on the ground and tried several times to get up, but I fell down again and again. When I finally managed to get up the last time, my heart suddenly tightened, and I fainted. When I woke up, Dr. Jack was sitting by my bed and said to me, "Jennifer, you're awake. You're in a very bad state, so I applied for a sedative for you. Do you feel a bit better now?" I pinched my thigh hard, forcing myself to calm down, and said, "Thank you," to her. Seeing that I was okay, she stood up and was about to leave. I suddenly called out to her, "Dr. Jack, where is Joey now? I want to see him." She turned around and sighed. "He's in the mortuary. You can take the elevator to the second floor, turn left after passing the nurse's station, and go all the way to the end." I walked out, leaning against the wall, and didn't even know how I got to the mortuary. I only remembered that I saw Joey being pulled out of the freezer. I still couldn't see his face clearly. I just felt that his body was as hard and cold as ice. I couldn't help but shed tears. I wanted to reach out and touch his face, but I involuntarily shrank back. I was very afraid. Afraid that the once warm hand no longer had any warmth. Afraid of accepting the fact that he was already dead. If possible, I hoped this was just a nightmare. When I woke up, Joey would still be by my bedside, stroking my head and asking me what I wanted to eat today. I pinched myself hard, trying to wake myself up, but in the end, except for the blue and purple marks on my arm, nothing changed. I finally broke down and cried bitterly on Joey's body. Overnight, I lost everything. There would never be anyone who loved me in this world again. Joey didn't have any relatives, but I still held a funeral for him. My eyes were gradually getting better. I watched numbly as they carried him away, watched the person who used to be gentle and alive turn into a corpse, a pile of ashes, and be put into a small wooden coffin, and finally be buried in the ground. After everything was done, I looked up in a trance and saw a dark cloud hanging in the sky. It started to rain. I closed my eyes and let the rain soak me. The tears at the corners of my eyes mixed with the rain and slowly slid down, hitting the ground and gathering into a small stream, but I didn't know where it was going. Some people say that life is full of regrets, just like the sky won't always be clear, and the moon won't always be full. Just like that, I like you, that I didn't have the chance to say, "Joey, I like you. Do you know that I bought the basement where Joey and I used to live?" The landlord looked at me as if I were a fool. Well, who would want to buy a dark and damp house that didn't even have a property certificate? But I just wanted to live here. Only here was my home. At night, I lay on that narrow bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. I suddenly remembered that the night before the surgery, Joey told me to check my WeChat. when I was blind, I rarely used my phone. My brothers helped me set up fingerprint and face unlocking, and I could only use the voice assistant to complete some very simple operations. During those days when I was with Joey later, I gave my phone to him without worry. He should have added me as a friend. I had been blind for almost 20 years and had never used WeChat. It took me a while to figure out how to use it. Fortunately, I didn't have many contacts, and Joey had pinned himself at the top, so I could see him at a glance. When I opened the WeChat chat window, there was a recording and a video recorded by Joey. I clicked on the video first. In the video, Joey was leaning against the hospital bed wearing a hat. He adjusted the position of the phone and waved at the camera with a smile. Jennifer, when you watch this video, I should already be gone, but don't be sad. This is also a kind of relief for me. Actually, I should apologize to you. I kidnapped you to raise money for my medical treatment. Before I met you, I was at the end of my rope. I hated this world, hated everyone, and once thought about taking revenge on society. But after meeting you, everything changed. I found that there were still many beautiful things in this world and people worth loving. Jennifer, do you know, you look very beautiful when you smile. You have two small dimples, which are very sweet. As he said this, the corners of his mouth raised slightly, and his right hand gestured on his cheek. But the next second, the smile slowly froze, and he lowered his head, looking sad. Unfortunately, I can't accompany you anymore. He tilted his head back, holding back his tears, and then forced a smile. He pointed at his own eyes. But it doesn't matter, I will accompany you in another way. Jennifer, I know you really want to see, so I'm giving you my eyes. In the future, you'll be able to see, go to many places you want to go, and do the things you want to do. I promised you that I would accompany you to see the sea, the lake, and the snow mountain. Although I can't go with you anymore, my eyes can. They will accompany you, witness all the beautiful things, and be with you forever. Then I'm not lying to you, am I? As he said that, he turned his head and wiped away his tears. I cried along with him. It seemed that the person on the screen could sense it. He sniffled and then started to smile again. Jennifer, you're crying again, aren't you? Stop crying. You don't look good when you cry, and I don't like it. So promise me that you'll smile in the future. Smile happily, okay, Jennifer? I hope you'll be happy, always be happy. At the end of the video, he still wasn't he and gave me many more instructions, for example, how to use the home appliances, where to buy the groceries, and how to cook the meals to make them delicious. Then he shook his head and said that I shouldn't cook by myself because I would be too tired, and I should hire a nanny. He also mentioned the recording that I had just seen. It was the conversation between me and Nina on the day I met her at the police station. At that time, I was on a call with Joey, and I didn't expect him to record the whole conversation. He said that I should use this as evidence to show my brothers, so that they would know what Nina had done to me, and then I could return to the James family. I knew he was worried about me being alone, but I didn't want to go back anymore. I didn't want to have any more contact with them. I opened a cake shop not far downstairs. The small storefront, apart from the back kitchen, could only fit 2 cabinets and a small table. I'm busy here every day, making fresh cream cakes and selling them to the neighbors. My days are full and fulfilling, until one day, I saw my third brother outside the shop. He didn't come in, he just stood at the door of the shop and looked at me. It wasn't until I closed the shop that he came over. Unlike the usual interrogations, this time, his voice was a bit softer, as if he was asking, Jennifer, where have you been? You even blocked everyone. Do you know that everyone is very worried about you? I was busy closing the shop door and just gave an, oh, without raising my head. He stepped forward and grabbed me. I heard from Nina that you ran away with a man. Is it the man who called us last time? Where is he? Why isn't he with you and making you work so hard alone? I didn't respond and turned to leave. He was a bit anxious and said a lot more. During the days you were gone, everyone was very worried and looked for you everywhere, especially the eldest brother. Although he seems not to care about you, when you were missing, he was more anxious than anyone else. He said he wanted to freeze your card before, but in fact, he didn't dare at all. He even put a lot of money into the card. He was afraid that the man wouldn't have enough money and would hit you. He was really worried to death. I was a bit impatient and looked up at him. Have you finished? If so, I'm leaving. He was stunned for a moment, waved his hand in front of me, and then his eyes widened. Jennifer, you can see now. I pushed his hand away and showed full disgust in my eyes. What does it have to do with you? Besides, it's been at least 2 months since I left the James family. Did you just remember that you have a sister now? As I spoke, a cold smile curled up on my lips. What did you say when I was kidnapped? Oh, you asked me why I always cause trouble for you guys. Now that I'm not bothering you, it's better for us to never have anything to do with each other, isn't it? He opened his mouth, seemingly wanting to defend himself, but swallowed the words back. Finally, he just hung his head and said, I'm sorry. I didn't accept his apology and walked around him. Before leaving, I left a word. I don't need your belated apology anymore. I also don't need the belated family affection. I have someone who cares about me. If you really feel sorry for me, then never come to find me again. I don't want to see any of you. My third brother didn't listen to me. Instead, he became more persistent and begged me to go home with him. My eldest brother and second brother also often lingered nearby and wouldn't leave no matter how I drove them away. What made me even more speechless was that Nina also came. As always, she was crying and sniffling, begging me to forgive her and go home with my brothers. I ignored her, and she was about to kneel down in front of my shop. She was just halfway down when my second brother held her up. My second brother looked at her pitiful appearance and started to blame me again, but his words were a bit softer this time. Jennifer, look, Nina is begging you like this, just come back with us. Nina pretended to wipe away 2 tears and glanced at me out of the corner of her eye. With full confidence in her eyes, I walked up to her and slapped her twice. The air froze for a moment, and everyone looked at me in disbelief, including Nina. My second brother reacted first and pulled Nina behind him to protect her. Jennifer, what are you doing? Nina has been so humble and begging you, and you still hit her. Do you have any conscience? Conscience? Then you should ask her if she has any. I walked around my second brother and stood in front of Nina, asking her, you just asked me to forgive you. Did you do something to betray me? No, I didn't. She was confused by my question and stammered a bit guiltily, really, since you don't admit it, then I'll give you a hand. I took out my phone and said to my brothers, since everyone is here, let's listen to this together. I played the recording. The background sound was a bit noisy, but my voice and Nina's voice could be clearly heard. Jennifer, look at you. You're so useless. Who would like you? I think it's better this way. I'll give you a sum of money, and you disappear from now on. Halfway through the recording, Nina's face instantly changed. She suddenly rushed forward and knocked the phone out of my hand. It's not like that. She's lying. I never said such a thing. She was crying as she spoke and bent down to grab the phone, but I pushed her away. Nina, this is a recording. These are the words you once said. How can I fake it? Moreover, not only were we two present at that time, but your boyfriend was also there. He should have heard something too, right? Hearing this, my eldest brother stepped forward and grabbed Nina's hand, asking her, Nina, aren't you dating Lu Chen? Why hasn't he come to find you recently? Did you break up? Brother, let go of me, you're hurting me. Nina turned her wrist and cried. He's too rigid and doesn't understand any fun at all. I just don't want to date him anymore. Really, Lu Chen's parents have a good relationship with our parents, and their whole family are policemen, very upright. I'm sure they won't lie to me. Do you want me to ask him in person? Besides, if this recording is synthesized, I can find it out too. Nina, tell me honestly now, is what's said in the recording true? Your kindness and thoughtfulness were all fake, and you've been framing Jennifer, haven't you? Nina suddenly panicked and cried while pulling the cuff of my eldest brother. No, I didn't mean to. I was just afraid that if Jennifer came back, I would be kicked out. Brother, please forgive me. Okay, my eldest brother shook off her hand. You should beg Jennifer to forgive you. She's the victim. The two of them were pulling and tugging in my shop. I really couldn't stand it anymore. So I pushed the door open and gave them an order to leave. This is a family matter of the James family. If you want to fight, scold, or quarrel, go back to the James family and make trouble there. You're not welcome here. My eldest brother walked up to me, his voice choking a bit. He said something soft to me for the first time. Jennifer, we know about the previous things. It was our fault as brothers. We wronged you. But there's no overnight feud in a family, right? Come back with me. We're still a family, okay? I turned around and looked at him standing in the shop, looking so helpless and humble. I just thought it was ridiculous. Before, when I needed my family, they pushed me away harshly. Now that I don't need them, they suddenly pop up and disrupt my life. It's really disgusting." I gave a cold snort and didn't show them any mercy. "No need. I don't have a family like you, and I don't care about the so-called comfortable life you offer. I'm living a good life now, and I don't need you to worry about me." I drove them all out. Nina almost fainted from crying when she left and was carried away by my second brother and third brother holding her arms. A few days later, my third brother told me that Nina had been kicked out by my eldest brother and also said that no one in the James family would bully me anymore and asked me to move back home. I was really annoyed, so I wanted to transfer the shop. Even if I found a shop farther away, it would be better than the current situation. So I was busy in the shop during the day and looked for a suitable shop location at night, until one night, when I walked out of the alley, I saw a Ferrari that was out of control head-on. The glass of the driver's cabin reflected an extremely distorted face, which was very much like a female ghost in a horror movie. It was Nina. After realizing it, I turned around and wanted to run back into the alley. But how could a person outrun a car? Nina stepped on the accelerator to the floor. The roar of the sports car was deafening, and it rushed towards me at high speed. I subconsciously closed my eyes. The next second, I was pushed away violently by a pair of hands. My body scraped against the side of the sports car and then fell heavily to the ground. There was a loud crashing sound in my ears, and there was also a strong smell of blood. I wanted to get up, but my body felt as heavy as 1,000 caddies. After struggling a few times, I completely fainted. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. My third brother was sitting by my bedside. His eyes were red, and he looked like he had been crying. My heart tightened, and I lifted the quilt to look at my legs. They were intact. So what was he crying for? I looked at him with a puzzled face. My third brother wiped away his tears and choked. "Don't look. The doctor said you're okay. It's just a minor skin injury and you were scared. You'll be fine after resting for a few days." It's the eldest brother. "Something happened to him. He bought a gift yesterday and wanted to give it to you." Coincidentally, he saw the scene when Nina tried to run you over, so he threw the gift, ran over, and pushed you away, but he was hit and flew away himself. Hearing this, I couldn't tell what I was feeling. He clearly didn't care about me anymore. Why did he still save me? Why didn't he give me any family affection when I was longing for it, but showed his warmth after I was completely disappointed? It's like a saw pulling back and forth on a piece of wood but not cutting it off, torturing me repeatedly. I closed my eyes and asked him, "How is the eldest brother now?" "He's still not out of danger. The doctor said that even if he's saved, he might become a vegetable." "Jennifer, what do you think we should do?" As my third brother spoke, he grabbed his hair and cried out loud. The sound of his crying echoed throughout the ward. I didn't know how to comfort him. A few days later, my eldest brother was out of danger, but as the doctor said, he became a vegetable forever. My second brother and third brother had a big fight. My third brother wanted to sue Nina and send her to prison. My second brother refused, saying that since they had already lost the eldest brother, they couldn't lose Nina too. Their argument didn't last long because a new problem came up. The James family group had always been controlled by the eldest brother. My second brother and third brother were actually playboys and didn't know anything. Now that the eldest brother was down, the shareholders began to stir and wanted to seize power. Some people had even secretly made arrangements and replaced important positions with their own people. My second brother had no choice but to take over the eldest brother's position. After 2 years of being extremely busy and stressed, he finally couldn't hold on anymore. The shareholders took advantage of his lack of business knowledge and had already emptied the company. Now the James family had long become an empty shell with debts exceeding its assets. It went bankrupt not long after. On the day the company went bankrupt, my second brother drank all night and cried, saying that he was sorry to our parents, to the eldest brother and the third brother, and especially to me. Later, he held my third brother's hand and said, "From now on, everything depends on you. Take care of the eldest brother and Jennifer. As for Nina, if you want to sue her, go ahead. I won't stop you anymore." Then, early the next morning, when the cleaners hadn't even started work yet, he climbed up to the headquarters building of the James family group and jumped off the rooftop. Overnight, the mansion had fallen, and the tree fell and the monkeys scattered. All the assets of the James family, including the villa, luxury cars, and everything else, were sealed up by the bank. My third brother moved out of the James family villa and into a small rented room. Then he seemed to disappear from the world and never appeared in front of me again. One night 3 years later, Penny and I closed the cake shop and planned to find a place to have some late-night snacks. Penny is an employee in my shop and also my best friend. We often go on trips, take photos, and enjoy delicious food together. She has an outgoing and enthusiastic personality and often recommends some good restaurants to me, such as the barbecue place we were going to tonight. But when I stood in front of the barbecue stall, I suddenly stopped in my tracks. Because I saw the man wiping sweat and grilling skewers in the thick smoke was my third brother. When he saw me, he forced a smile. He looked at Penny beside me, hung his head, and didn't dare to recognize me. He just asked me what I wanted to eat. After ordering, I walked over to help him grill the skewers. He waved his hand at me and said that it was dirty and oily here and told me not to touch it and just sit in my seat and wait to eat. I didn't accept his suggestion and silently took a skewer and put it on the charcoal fire. He smiled as if he didn't care. "Jennifer, you're still as stubborn as before. But it's good like this. You have your own opinions and are not easy to be deceived." He paused, and his voice became a bit lower. "How have you been these past few years?" I gave an and said, "Pretty good. How about you, and the eldest brother? How is he?" He suddenly started crying, and tears couldn't stop flowing down. Then he raised his arm to wipe away the tears and choked. "It's good, everything is good. Nina has been sent to prison and sentenced to 10 years. The eldest brother is still the same, but it's good that he's alive. At least it gives me something to hold on to. Do you need my help?" I asked. He shook his head. "No, I can manage it myself." "Jennifer, we've already been very sorry to you. I don't want to drag you down anymore. Now I just hope you can live a good life. As long as you're healthy and happy, I'll be at ease." Third brother. I didn't force it. I accompanied him to grill the skewers for a while longer until Penny called me, and then I went back to my seat. Before leaving, my third brother suddenly stopped me. "Jennifer, do you still hate us?" I smiled at him. "Life is already so hard. Where do I have the time to hate? Let's all live well and live our own lives in the future." He smiled and nodded, but the moment I turned around, I saw the tear that fell into the charcoal fire from his eye. It turned into a wisp of smoke in an instant and disappeared. Later, I never saw him again. Penny and I live together and support each other. We run the cake shop together. During festivals, I will take her and the child out to play. We have been to many places. We climbed the snow mountains and took photos in front of the monument at an altitude of 680 meters. We went to Qingdao, Hainan, and the Maldives and saw different seas. We also bought a motorhome and went to the lake that I had always been longing for and strolled by the picturesque lake. This time, I huddled together with a group of travelers, waiting for the sea of clouds and the sunrise on mountain. When the first ray of sunlight passed through the clouds, Penny's daughter jumped up excitedly, hugged my neck, and said, "Auntie, look, the sun is out." In an instant, the sky was filled with a sea of glow. The golden sun slowly rose above the clouds, and the orange light shone on the sea of clouds that was rolling like waves. The wind was blowing and the clouds were surging. It was magnificent and made my whole heart tremble. I don't know why, but a tear suddenly flowed down from the corner of my eye. I subconsciously closed my eyes and raised one hand high to feel the temperature of the sunlight. It seemed that his voice rang in my ears again. He said, "Jennifer, it's the dawn by the river, the light of the dawn that shines into the darkness." I opened my eyes and murmured, "Joey, I saw it with your eyes. In this way, neither of us is a puppy, right?" The sun broke through the darkness and slowly rose, shining its light on the earth. Just as he once said, the dawn will come again. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.